The cult of personality.
Greetings, every people. It's your cult of personality here, ToonKriticY2K, Toon's name of my game, and welcome back to Tooned In, where I sell to you 5 reasons why you should watch this show. We all love web series. I'm pretty sure a majority of us grew up with Newgrounds, and if you didn't, you were probably getting good grades in school. Nowadays, web series are all over the place, and some are trying to make it big in the world, like Bravest Warriors and Cyanide and Happiness. But if there's one web series that I get constant requests for, and rightfully so, comes to us from Rooster Teeth with RWBY. I've been looking forward to talking about this series for a while, and though Eliora and I briefly reviewed Volume 1 a few years ago, today, this popular web series gets the Tooned In treatment. Let's take a look at RWBY Volumes 1, 2, and 3. So why should you watch RWBY? Well, each volume is roughly that of a movie if you watch it in its entirety. RWBY has started off on YouTube and on the Rooster Teeth website. By the way, Rooster Teeth is awesome. You should definitely go check their stuff out. If you watch RWBY on YouTube through a good playlist, each volume is roughly about an hour and a half to 2 hours. So if you want to barrel through it and binge it, it's very possible. YouTube cuts it down nicely into bite-sized pieces, but the whole thing creates something cinematic. I'd say definitely support them and buy the volumes, because you get the full thing together without any cuts and jumping to the next video. Secondly, the 4 main leads of RWBY, which are of course Ruby, Weiss, Blake, and Yang, are strong, they kick ass, they're a very formidable team, and it's great to see how they develop throughout the volumes. I'll start off with RWBY herself. She is adorable, she's a little cinnamon roll, and she's the leader of the team, which you wouldn't really expect because she seems so young and inexperienced. Oh, just watch her introduction video. You'll be very surprised. She has a gun sight that turns into a freaking sniper rifle. What? This thing is so awesome. If I could have any weapon in the entire world, it would be this particular weapon. Oh, that's right. You'd think that RWBY is my favorite just because she's red and black, right? Well, firstly, you're not just wrong, you're stupid. I admire RWBY's tenacity, knowing that she's the leader and that she's going to have to step up. It's a long road, but it's a road worth traveling, and I love seeing this particularly in Volumes 2 and 3. Then you have Weiss, who is, I'm just gonna come out and say it, is a bitch. She was my least favorite character for quite some time. I like the way they're able to transition her from being this ice queen to someone you can actually kind of relate to. I actually really like her weapon too. I like all the cool magic she's able to do. The rapier is a good choice for her. It's ladylike, but it's also fierce. And that's the one big quality that I like in Weiss. It's good to see how she's able to reform and actually warm up to the other members of the team. She's still a bit of a bitch, but less of a bitch, which is good. Blake is an interesting character in that I like the way that they were able to use her to talk about certain themes in the show, and also themes that you would see now, like prejudice and racism and whatnot, not saying exactly what, but the way that they go about it is really interesting. Blake's the one character that I really can't connect with, but from a writing standpoint and a character standpoint, I understand her. She's the quiet type, she's the loner, but the way that she fits into the team and actually teams up really well with Yang at a lot of points serves as a good counterpoint and a balance for the rest of the characters. But out of all 4 of these, Yang is easily my favorite. While most fighters prefer a scythe or a blade or a whip or a gun, no, Yang just needs these hands, and boy oh boy are you gonna learn how to catch them real quick. I've always loved the tomboy types. I've always loved her cheery optimism. I also love the puns that she makes. Yes, I am a sucker for puns, sue me. But she is not without her faults. She may be the strongest out of the team, but she does have a few problems along the way as well. Also, I totally do not have a crush on her. What? I don't know what you're talking about. Third thing I love about RWBY is that if you are looking for a fast-paced, action-heavy series, RWBY has got you covered. The fight choreography in RWBY has to be some of the best I've seen in a long, long time. Considering the threats that these kids have to go through, they come up with some really creative weapons to handle themselves on their own. There's actually one particular fight scene, I believe, in the first volume within the first few episodes, which involves a bridge and a giant flying monster. I think if I were to show anything from RWBY, it is definitely that. Fight choreography does not get a lot of love these days, but man, when it comes to RWBY, this is one of the shining parts of it. That actually ties really nicely into the fourth thing I want to mention. There is a great balance of serious and anime-like moments in this series. Yeah, this really does feel like an anime series. Why? Because it can go from serious and very dramatic to something really goofy, especially with the expressions and poses that are used, or the way some characters are animated and whatnot. It goes from like super serious to super cute, and sometimes it can be at like the snap of a finger, and I love that. Heck, it even comes down to the opening of RWBY, which has so many different anime vibes to it, with how the camera moves around, with even the song that they choose. It has a lot of elements of what makes a great anime series, and yet it's not an anime. Yet, when I go to anime cons, I see so many different people cosplaying as the RWBY characters, which is great. Whether you like it or you hate it, RWBY is extremely popular. Plus, if RWBY is way too dramatic and serious for you, you can always take a look at RWBY Chibi, which is a thing. It's very cute. It's not necessary, but it's cute. The last big thing I want to talk about with RWBY is watching the evolution. This series started off in 2013, and the first volume is very amateurish. But the way that it progresses, the way that the animation gets better, the voice acting gets better, the characters slowly begin to develop and fit into their roles. I love watching this. It's great to see how all these characters develop. Not just the RWBY team, but the Juniper team and the Headmasters. All of these characters bounce off of each other. They have such excellent chemistry. And even though it's a rocky start with Volume 1, Volume 2 refines upon everything that made Volume 1 good. Then Volume 3 takes that and starts to slowly make it darker and more serious now that we're used to these characters. And Volume 4, where do I begin with Volume 4? I'll discuss that for another time. These characters are like a family, Monty's family, and it was very tragic to hear that he passed away. But I think he will be happy to know that his legacy has evolved. Evolution is such an important thing. It's been a long road for RWBY, but you can tell there is so much passion that was put into this by Monty, with the lore, the setting, the characters, the action, the animation. Even though he is gone, his legacy still lives on. And with Season 4 out of the way, leading into Season 5 this year, which I am pretty hyped for, I don't know if anyone else is, one can only imagine where the story is going to go from here. I don't know, but if you are looking for a great series that you can binge through easily, RWBY is the show for you. So go ahead and put down in the comments what your thoughts are on the RWBY series, and question of the episode, who is your favorite RWBY character and or team? With that being said, I am the Toon Critic, keeping you totally tuned for your entertainment. Thank you for watching, and stay awesome.
About kicking off the semester with a bang.
I always kick my semesters off with a yank.
I made a funny.